Welcome to Mary Queen Stories, the official podcast of Mary Queen of the Holy Rosary Parish in Lexington, Kentucky. Our mission is to receive God's love, proclaim the greatness of the Lord, serve joyfully, and make missionary disciples of Jesus Christ. I'm your host, Jennifer Longworth, Communications and Parish Life Coordinator at Mary Queen. Today, our special guest is Kabby Akers. Kabby, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And you've been around Mary Queen a long time. How long have you been at Mary Queen?
I think we became parishioners in like 1980, so a long time.
Yeah. Are you a Cradle Catholic? Or?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Now, one of the reasons I invited you on is because you are in the Justice Ministry at Mary Queen and are very involved in BUILD.
Correct.
So first off, what is BUILD? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
Okay, BUILD stands for Building a United Interfaith Lexington Through Direct Action. It's an organization made up of 26 diverse congregations, and diversity is really important to us, diverse racially, denominationally, economically, geographically. It's real important that we have that diversity among us. And our mission is to solve community problems. We hold public officials accountable for fixing, changing policies and changing budgets, and are looking at problems in a different way. So we're not a direct service organization like a charity. We're very different. It's direct action.
Can you walk us through the process of what you do, how you do, what you do? I mean, this sounds like a big thing.
It is, but we have a very a format that we use, and it starts with listening. In the fall, we have house meetings, and we listen to hundreds and hundreds of people across the city, and we ask them, "What are you worried about? What keeps you up at night?" And we hear lots of stories. And so after that, in November, we have what we call the Community Problems Assembly, and we get together and we vote on which of these issues. The team is kind of wheeled out the ones that rise to the top, and we vote on what do we want to work on this year. And this past year, it was elder care, which is something that's been on the list for a long time, but it had never made it to the top. So this year we're doing elder care. So that's the listening process. And once we've listened, we do our research, and we learn more about the problem, and we learn how other cities solve the problem and look for winnable solutions. And so after we've done the research, after we've figured out what is working in other cities, we find out who in the city would be responsible for fixing that. And then we call them to the Nehemiah Action, where we gather 1,000+ people to hear what our concerns are and what our solution is, and ask them to make those changes. And then we follow up to make sure that they have done what they've said that they would do. So that's the general process that we follow.
So how do you find the people for the house meetings?
In the parish. So each parish has a leader, which I am here at Mary Queen. And then I have a team. There's 5 of us now on the English side, and we're getting a Spanish team put together too. And we each have our own team. So we invite friends, people we're in ministry with, and then have them come to the house meeting. And then those people bring people to the Nehemiah Action. So it's a way of building community and power within the parish.
Okay, and you said there's 26?
26 congregations.
26 different congregations. Everybody's doing this in their own congregation.
Right. So the house meetings last year, we had over 400 people who were listened to in these house meetings. So you hear a lot of stories of what's going on. Grassroots, this is what's going on in the city. We hit affordable housing back in 2007 before the city really realized it. We hit violence years before it really hit. So we're really got our ears to the ground with what's going on in people's lives, and trying to address these problems before they get out of hand. And usually they don't listen to us until they're out of hand.
Right. So this year you mentioned elder care kind of rose to the top. What about elder care?
Well, the research, again, is just a new issue, so we're just kind of getting our feet wet with it. But the research found that 90% of elderly people, seniors, want to age in their own homes. But there's just stumbling blocks to keep them doing that. And they found a model called the Villages, which is a way of connecting people with a need with people who want to help. And it really needs to be run by a nonprofit, but we need the city to kind of get it jump-started. And they refuse to get involved, so we have to keep working. But it's, people just need simple things like they need somebody to help them get the garbage can up and down, or the snow removed, or just somebody to come and talk to them. I mean, there's lots of needs that keep people connected and in their homes longer. And that's what we're trying to set this village model. But say it's early in the process, and we're just trying to kind of figure that one out.
And you had some other issues this year. I was at the Nehemiah Action, and microtransit was one that seemed to be well received.
Yeah. Again, we worked on that for years. It started off with mental illness, and people kept sharing stories of how family and friends with mental illness would cycle in and out of crisis. And when we asked when we did our research and talked to the officials, we asked them what barriers are there to people with mental illness getting better, and it was affordable housing and transportation. So we're already working on affordable housing. So let's take on transportation. And we learned about microtransit. But as we researched that, we found out there are lots of people who don't have access to transportation in this town. Half of the people are not within walking distance of a bus line, 50%, and 1 in 3 person does not have access to a private car, which really surprised us. So we realized that there's not only people with mental illness are being kept in cycles of crisis, there are lots of people who aren't getting what they need just to stay connected to others, or job opportunities. We talked to one guy when he was at the Nehemiah Action. He had job opportunities, I think, with Lexmark and IBM and all these. He's a tech guy and had all these opportunities, but they asked him, do you have reliable transportation? And he says, I don't. So now he's working from home, he can do that, but he's very isolated, and community would be good for him. So there's lots of people who miss job opportunities because they can't get to work. And employers would want people to be able to get to work. So I think it's a win-win. People want to work. People need workers. So there's a whole level of population that would benefit from microtransit besides just people with mental illness. But that kind of grew as we talked to more and more people about how this could help our city.
Was there a third issue this year too?
Well, the affordable housing is kind of ongoing. It's doing really good. We just got an additional $3 million a year put in. It had been $2 million for years. Last year, we got an additional, it's 1% of the recurring budget revenue for the city. And so we don't have to fight for that every year. It's just going to be 1% of the previous year's budget. So that's up to about $5 million a year will go into affordable housing. So far, I think the city's put in $45 million. It's generated $471 million in the community, and there have been 3,700 units so far have been created, and there's lots more in the pipeline. And it's such a good program, and it's meeting needs of people with mental illness and people with disabilities and seniors and veterans, and I mean it's really doing a good job trying to target people who really, really need it. So very proud of that work.
You've been in Build for a long time, so you've seen this whole process. How does that feel? Or what do you think about that, especially the affordable housing, how far it's come?
Oh, my God, so proud of that. I mean, it's the investment time, and people say, why do you invest? Because I know where my money's going. I see what we've done. You know, I've heard a statistic one time, for every dollar invested in Build, it generates $100 in benefit to the community, which is tremendous investment down here. I'm getting ready to do an investment call right after here, going out to Taylor Made Farm and telling them about our work. And I'm asking them to invest in our work because it benefits the whole community. So yeah, we started small with little asks. You know, it wasn't a big deal, but we've really gotten some movement. Now the city council, instead of running from us, you know, Chuck Allinger is Bill's my friend.
Yeah.
And he wants to work with us because he knows we know what we're doing, and it's better to be for us than against us. And Whitney Baxter one time, she's my council person at a council meeting, said, you know, Bill, a lot of people come to us with complaints, but Bill comes with solutions. And I thought I'd never heard it put that way. And for a council person to say that really meant a lot to me.
It's impressive at the Nehemiah Action, you know, and disappointing, depends on who's there, who's not, to see all the council people and the public officials up there on the stage with you guys, hopefully saying yes to what we present, right? But still to see them caring enough to show up.
Absolutely. I mean, and they should be there, even if they want to say no, they still need to be there. I have one story that I love to tell. It was Mayor Isaacs, and we wanted to get a drug treatment program in the jail for women. There was one for men, but there wasn't for the women. And we talked to whoever would put it on. I don't remember who it was at that time. What would it cost? And it was like $80,000. And so we asked Mayor Isaacs, would she come? And we're going to ask her that. No, I can't do it. We don't have that kind of money in the budget. I can't do it. And so, well, we just need you to come and tell us that you can't do it. We need you there. You're our mayor. And she said she'd come. And then the Friday before, she called and said, well, the women are playing in the NCAA tournament out in Chicago on that night. I'm going to go up to Chicago and watch the women play. And we said, really? All right, well, tell everybody that's what you're doing. Oh, no, don't do that. I said, well, is it true? Yeah. Well, you chose to do that. So Monday morning she called and said, never mind, I'll be there. And she says, if you say no, that we understand, but it's important that you be there. So she came and she heard Anita Allen tell her story about how her daughter's life would have been saved if she had had drug treatment in the jail. And she heard these testimonies, and the people are living with these stories. And she looked at us and she says, you're right. It's wrong that the women don't have the same access to it as men do. She said, if you'll work with me with the council, we'll get the money in the budget and we'll make it happen. And that's still being done to this day, and lives are being saved. Women can go home, help take care of their families. The benefit to the community is you just can't even put a price tag on what that means. So we work in the power of the pressure. They don't like being under pressure, but when they see our stories, you heard the stories we told at the Nehemiah Action, we work from these stories and for these people.
That speaks a lot. That she came, she saw the thousands of people, she heard the testimonies, and she responded.
Yeah, this is an injustice for the women in our community, and we need to fix it.
So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's a good one to how the power of the people work. It's not comfortable. I don't want to be there and say no. It's like, that's not the point. The point is you come and listen to our stories.
So I've been there and seen them say no.
Mm-hmm. It's uncomfortable, but it took, the mayors for affordable housing. They said no for 7 years in a row. And I was on stage with Adam when Mayor Gray said yes. And we looked at each other and said, what did he say? We hadn't prepared for hearing no for 7 years. And we were ready to negotiate with them and go back and forth. And we just kind of stood there quiet. So we should have practiced the yes.
Yeah.
But you get no's.
These issues don't surprise them by the time they get to Nehemiah Action. They've been
we've been in meetings with them, and they get a copy of the exact question that we're going to ask them a few days before, because some of them we're still monkeying with. But they know exactly, and if there's any questions, they can call us. And, they kind of act sometime if they're going to say no. I've never seen this before. Well, that's a lie. They have. And if they haven't, it's because they haven't responded to our request to have a meeting with them. They refused to meet with us,
So how can Mary Cleaners get involved?
Mary Cleaners, if they want to get involved, let me or anybody else on the team know, and we'll get you into a house meeting. That's where it starts in the fall. We'll invite you to a house meeting, and you'll meet other people. And it was interesting, when we first started at Mary Clean, I had a really hard time getting people to be involved, because say, well, my kids have a good education. The house is nice. There's no crime in my neighborhood. It's like, why would I care? And once we started getting together and learning what other parts of Lexington are experiencing, but also what fellow parishioners are. The mental illness was a real big issue for people to share what was going on in their families. That, there's we're a lot more alike than we thought. And then with this elder care, who isn't touched by elder care? So just getting together with other parishioners, sharing our stories, and becoming a community is how you get started. Just come and see share your story. And I had one lady who was going through RCAA who kind of stood at the door and wasn't sure she wanted to come in. And finally, come in. Oh, I don't know. And she didn't want to talk. And turns out she had incredible stories. And this stuff was really affecting her life. And she got involved when she realized that this is something. And that's why people get involved, is because this is something. It's your city. These are your tax dollars. This is for you, and don't do it as a favor for me. Do it because this is meaningful to you. And that's really the whole gist of getting involved. This is important to me and my family, that we can take care of this problem, whatever it is.
So what is the timeline again for house meetings?
Okay, the house meetings are usually like in September.
Okay.
That August, September, that area. And then the leaders take all those stories that we've heard, and we kind of meet and distill and figure out which ones rose to the top. And then all the Justice Ministry Network members in November meet, and we vote on which issue that we want to take on for the year. And so we research it from November really up until, April or so, when the Nehemiah Action is. We're building power, and also we're researching the issues. And then we have the Nehemiah Action in April, May. And then the celebration in the investment drive is June till listening process in September.
So this is the first year I heard about the investment drive. Okay, so each dollar gets $100 worth of work, but what is this dollar going to do?
They train, that we have a staff of 2 right now, and they train the leaders in the congregations to build power. So we go to trainings, they organize us. You see Mary Kate's over here all the time. She works with the leaders to empower us and to train us to work with the congregation to build power, to have a house meeting, do the research. They're involved in the research. So they train the people and keep the process moving.
Okay. It's not something we hear about a lot. Is it a more targeted ask, or?
Well, we ask anybody who becomes a Justice Ministry Network member is invited to invest $200 a year, which is a serious investment in the work. It's a lot of money. And they want to be a part of it, and they get invested in it. I started off at $200, and I'm going to do $2,200 this year because it's that important to me. The work we do is serious, and I'm proud of it, and I want the city to be better for my grandchildren. My grandsons are African American, and I want them to have a fair shake in this town, and fighting with other African Americans and congregations. To do that is really meaningful. It's a meaningful way for me to spend my life. So that's why I do it.
And how did you get into it in the first place?
How did we begin? It's been around 21 years, and I just heard about it in the paper, and I had just finished at Lexington Theological Seminary, which was ecumenical, and so I really liked the ecumenical part, and I'd done a Journey to Justice with some of the folks here, and Jenny Ramsey and Peggy Gabriel, and I kind of knew I was supposed to be doing justice, but I didn't know how. You can't do it by yourself, and it was real frustrating. So when I heard about Build, and we got an invitation to the parish, Bill Greenwell was here, and he asked if I wanted to be involved. So I got involved because it was ecumenical and because it was a way to do justice. And then once I got involved, and the people we work with are amazing. I just love Build meeting. It's like, yes, I loved you people. So it's really good. It's work that I really enjoy, people that I really enjoy. It's meaningful. And I just feel like I'm spending my time and my money worthwhile to be involved in it.
So for Justice Ministry participants at Mary Queen, is this just a fall and spring type thing, or is this a year-round commitment?
If you agree to be a Justice Ministry Network member, you'd come to a house meeting, and that's where you agree. You would go to the Community Problems Assembly where you get to vote on the issue. You can be as involved in the research as you want, and I love the research. I was a researcher for years over at UK, so I love being involved in the research, but you can do that if you want and if you don't want. Then we have a meeting here called the network meeting for just Mary Queen folks, and we kind of get organized of who we're going to invite to the Nehemiah Action, and the goal is to bring at least 3 people with you to the Nehemiah Action. So network member commits to bring 3 people with them. And then we have a rally where we learn where we are with all the issues. And then we have the Nehemiah Action where you bring your 3 people. And then the celebration, which is this Thursday night, the June 6th, where we will kick off the investment drive and we'll hear about the issues and the backstories. And it was interesting at the Nehemiah Action this year where there really wasn't a lot of tension because we had all the tension before with the microtransit issue. We had went through a lot to get to that point. And so people got there and thought, well, that was easy. Well, you missed. So we'll tell those kind of backstories of how we got here. And so then we celebrate what we've done. And then we spend the summer doing investment drive with corporate. So I'm going on a corporate visit this afternoon at Taylor Made Farm. And I've got another one in a couple of days with McBrayer. So we talk to different leaders in the community, tell them the work that we're doing and get them to invest as well, invite them to invest as well in the work, because it makes Lexington a better city for them to do business in and to live.
Now, as a parishioner of Mary Queen, I like to ask the question about our mission statement, which is still relatively new, and people are trying to get it. I'm trying to put it everywhere, but, it's still relatively new. But the mission statement is receive God's love, proclaim the greatness of the Lord, serve joyfully, and make missionary disciples of Jesus Christ. So as the Justice Ministry Network, as a Build representative, as a parishioner of Mary Queen, which one of those resonates the most with you?
Well, they all do, because I think they flow. But I think the last one is really what we do, is we make missionary disciples. We invite people to get involved in their faith. I mean, doing justice, I never really understood what it was. And now that I understand, I feel very committed. God's called me to do this. I've got to get out in the community. I'm responsible for what's going on in my community. I can't sit at home and say, well, my house is nice and it's safe. And if it's your problem, it's your problem, because my brothers and sisters are suffering. And so I have to be involved. So my job here is to invite other people to be a part of this. And like I said, it was really a tough sell at first. But once people realize the work that we're doing and how valuable it is, and the Nehemiah Action is awesome and powerful, and to be together with people from all over Lexington, all these different nationalities, creeds, races, we're all together doing this together. It's powerful. And so I think that that's kind of the role I fulfill. But it had to kind of go through the others to get to that point, I think.
About how many people from Mary Queen showed up this year for Nehemiah
We had
Action?
a little over 200, I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah, our goal was 400, so that was real disappointing. But everybody's had a real hard time since COVID. People want to stay home and watch it on TV.
Is it live streamed?
It used to be. I mean, during COVID, we were.
Oh, okay.
But since then, the power is in being together. The officials don't feel any pressure, any power. They don't get it if they're sitting in their office or their living room participating. So we really are trying very hard to get people. Plus the elder care issue. I mean, I heard stories. I was going to be there, but elder care issues. I mean, I was in transportation. Somebody was driving one of the moms and walking with moms. She spent the day driving around because she didn't have a way to get. So our issues are just really real. I mean, real life problems. And that's, again, why I love it. We're working on stuff that people are dealing with.
Well, if someone wants to get more involved, how can they contact you?
Definitely contact me, or you can ask Father Miguel, and he'll get you shipped over to me. But I'll get you plugged into a team, invited to a house meeting, and or I'd just be happy to sit down and have coffee with you and talk about it, listen to you, and see what your issues are, and tell you more about it. No pressure. But again, don't do it as a favor to me. Do it because you want Lexington to be a better city that has affordable housing for folks, that people can get around and not be isolated, that's safe. There's reasons that people get involved, and I want people to be there because it's really important to them to live in this town that cares about people.
And what's your email address?
KAKERS@cdlex.org.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, Kabby.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for listening to Mary Queen Stories. To connect with us, visit mqhr.org/podcast. Until next time, and always, Mary Queen of the Holy Rosary, pray for us.